Hi guys, today I want to talk to you about another one of my favorite professional female wrestlers, Judy Martin. Now, Judy Martin comes from what I would call the golden era, the golden age of ladies professional wrestling, which, as far as I'm concerned, was the 80s in their entirety and the early 90s. Now, Judy Martin was one of the wrestling powerhouses, and she, if I'm not mistaken, stood about 5'7" tall, and she weighed 175 pounds, so she was definitely one of the bigger women, and as such, she always pushed a dominant wrestling style, and she made history in professional wrestling for several reasons. First of all, she was a member of arguably one of the most famous and best known tag teams in professional wrestling history, men's and women's, the Glamour Girls. Now, she teamed up with Leilani Kai, another personality of Judy Martin's caliber, and together they dominated the big leagues and the small ones for a good while there as the Glamour Girls. They wrestled for a bunch of organizations and they won titles left and right. They wrestled for the LPWA as well as the WWF back in those days, and they pretty much won everything that there was to be won at that time. Now then, despite that fact, Judy Martin as a singles wrestler didn't exactly see as much success. She was quite probably a jobber, though. It wouldn't be inaccurate to call her that, because as far as her singles belts are concerned, she lost around 67% of all her matches, and that is quite a staggering number there. Indeed, she started wrestling in 1979, back in those days when yours truly wasn't even born yet, and her career actually started in Japan, I believe, where she got really rough treatment from the girls over there. Back in those days, the Japanese women routinely out-wrestled their American counterparts, and they pushed a much more aggressive and violent style there. And whoever was put through that meat grinder always came out much better and much tougher on the other side. And Judy Martin did exactly that. Now, during her days in Japan, she lost quite a bit to much smaller opponents, and that added to her appeal. She was a big, definitely, and she wrestled as a big, and whenever she lost to a local diminutive wrestling celebrity, the crowds were obviously overjoyed, and it always meant something to defeat this big, towering, hulking woman in the ring. So, yeah, as I said, she started wrestling in Japan in 1979, and she first developed an interest in wrestling after talking to a couple of wrestlers following their bout in the US, and yeah, she somehow came to the conclusion that it was something that she wanted to do. In the WWF, in the beginning and later on as well, it was difficult for Judy Martin to find singles success. She wrestled a bunch of the biggest names of the era, beginning with Sherry Martel, Rockin' Robin, Medusa Michelli, you name it, and she ended up with the short end of the stick most of the time, which wasn't exactly a surprise considering the skills and the caliber of those wrestlers. Anyway, if Cage Match and their statistics are to be believed, Judy Martin logged some of the most incredible losing streaks in the history of wrestling. In 1985, if I'm not mistaken, she wrestled no fewer than 33 matches and she lost every single one of them. To Rockin' Robin alone, she lost around 30 to 40 matches in a row, a losing streak which was in turn followed by another handful of losses to Sherry Martel, Candy Divine, Rockin' Robin again, and Medusa Michelli too. Martin is a unique wrestler in the sense that she achieved the absolute peaks of success both as a face wrestler as well as a heel and a jobber. Now, she jobbed superbly, she healed superbly, and whenever a babyface was needed, she was just as good at that as well. In addition to those accomplishments, Judy Martin is the one credited with the invention of the Powerbomb. Now, you may not know this, and you may not think that it is so, but run a little bit of research on it, and you will see that she was indeed the one who first used the Powerbomb. Now, that is quite something. Talk about a way to leave your mark in the business. Alright guys, so that was another one of my favorites. A short special on my top female wrestlers. If you like the video, click the like button down below. Follow me on here by all means, and check me out on various other social media channels. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, so I post my pictures all over the place. So yeah, that's it for today. See you around.